Hello, neighbor, hello, friend. Here we are on the road again. We traveled to Kamsack, Saskatchewan in search of the secret to the best borscht.
Oh, that's a good secret.
Yeah, what are you doing, Clark? It's here in the winter or what?
We visit the Battery, a tiny fishing village on the doorstep of St. John's, Newfoundland. And what in Green Gables is this? The Space Shuttle in Prince Edward Island?
Ta-da!
Stories of the people across the land. Here we are on the road again. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our show. That is an Atlas rocket, one of the first to take man into space. It's here on the grounds of the Museum of Science and Technology in Ottawa. Now, it's not surprising to see a rocket like this on the grounds of a science museum. But to find something like this on Prince Edward Island?
3, 2, 1.
Bart Bourne had one wish before he retired from the Air Force: to fly in the space shuttle. He never got that chance, so Bart did the next best thing. He built his own.
I basically worked from a Revell model, scale 1 to 72, and I measured and multiplied by 72. If you want one of these in your backyard, that's all you gotta do.
Nothing to it.
Nothing to it.
Bart's backyard is this property on Prince Edward Island. The shuttle is the centerpiece of a project Bart's been working on for 7 years. His very own homemade theme park.
Ta-da! For the longest time, I felt that I would like to own a tourist attraction. It's not potato, it's not lobster, it's not Anne of Green Gables, but it's good.
Bart not only built and designed the space shuttle, he also built everything else at the park. The mini golf course, the adventure forest, the special rides, in case you want to go for a spin.
Oh, you are being annihilated.
And some pretty unusual games for the kids.
The park is strictly for kids. Ah! Incoming! The neat thing about this is everything that I build here, I get to be the first one to try it. And honestly, it's like building big toys.
The shuttle is definitely this big kid's biggest toy, but that's only on the outside.
The top corner is a small warming oven to warm food. They don't cook on the shuttle, they just warm their food.
On the inside, there's a more serious side. Bart has turned the shuttle into a mini space school.
The shuttle is, quite truthfully, it's to try and inspire kids to take an interest in science. If you don't know that it's an educational attraction and that's the purpose in life, then it shouldn't be here. But I don't know of a better-looking science center in the world. Just watch as I pull myself up the wall.
And with Bart in charge, you know learning is going to be fun.
I just have not grown up. I honestly cannot believe that I am 50 years old. My kids are more mature than I am. I feel sorry for them. If I was 6, this would be special.
Bart's young-at-heart enthusiasm is shared by his wife, Patty.
It's great.
She comes up with a lot of ideas, like this human bubble maker, and Bart turns them into reality.
Love it. Is your whole life in this now? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
everything you own?
Everything. Absolutely everything. I had a house in Winnipeg. I sold it and made lots of bucks. It's here. Look closely. It's here. Patty had a greenhouse business, a thriving greenhouse business. She sold it. It's here. Everything is here.
This isn't the first time Bart's gambled everything on a tourist attraction. A few years ago, he built this life-sized reproduction of King Tut's tomb. Bart figured this pharaoh not only had a past, he had a future.
I figured at one point I'd franchise it.
King Tut's tomb?
King Tut's tomb. Just like Kentucky Fried Chicken.
He gave his life for tourism.
Well, the King Tut franchise idea died. But Bart never gave up on his dream of owning his own tourist attraction. And Patty never gave up on him.
Good. Are you worried about what's next?
Yes.
Well, this is what's next. Bart just wheeled and dealed himself a planetarium from the island's university.
And initially I tried to talk him out of it for nothing. And that didn't work, and it went up for bids, and from the public, there was one bid. It was me. And that's a $250,000 facility, just a wonderful, wonderful facility, and I picked it up for $1,200.
Talk about a deal. Of course, the $1,200 didn't include delivery or installation.
Inch by inch, row by row, see our planetarium grow. All it needs is a lift from below.
Give me Milky Way segment 11.
There you go.
With Patty's help, Bart hopes to have the planetarium and its projector ready for the next tourist season.
Oh,
Oh,
dear.
don't lose the Milky Way.
He's not sure what project he'll take on after that. All Bart knows is that it will be something neat.
Good. Neat, that's the word.
Is that another one that's you?
Yes, if people ask me what I'm doing here, I don't tell them I'm building the biggest or the best theme park in the world, but I am building the neatest. And when I hear a kid say neat in the park, I've done my job.
Oh, good.
Your brush, Mr. Rusty.
Ooh, that looks good.
Yes, sir. May I help you?
Yes, please. I need a good-sized cabbage. That one.
Oh, you want to make cabbage roll?
No, I'm making borscht with it.
Oh, no, you need beets.
No, I don't need beets. I'm making it with cabbage.
No, beets.
No. You see, a lady on our TV show, On the Road Again, taught us how to make it just with cabbage.
No, that's impossible.
No, let me tell you how it started. You see, we...
How's the cabbage going?
It's morning, and Vi Kurinov is hard at work in her restaurant in Kamsack, Saskatchewan. At the P&V Eatery, Vi is queen.
Girls, the vegetables all stay afloat?
She rules the kitchen. The king is Vi's husband, Phil. He looks after the Meals on Wheels end of the business. He makes sure people who can't get out don't miss out on Vi's specialty.
Not warm enough yet.
And that specialty is borscht, an all-vegetable meal that's made their restaurant famous. Vi makes it with cabbage, not beets. It's the same way her mother made it.
Well, we always had borscht at home. Mom always made borscht at home. My mother was Russian and my dad was Ukrainian. But Mom always made this particular recipe.
Okay, you're done with the prepping, right? On that side?
The first time Vi tried making borscht on her own, it wasn't quite what she hoped it would be.
It was terrible.
It was awful. It was impossible to eat.
I tried to get the taste there. I added so many different things into there to get the flavors that I knew what it should taste like. But
the vinegar and the salt and whatever else, the acid in there would burn your stomach right out.
Now, Vi Kurinov is a proud woman. She doesn't take failure lightly.
that borscht got to me so to the point that I wanted to know what was wrong with it.
So Vi began a series of trial and error experiments. Working from her mother's original recipe, she eventually produced a borscht she liked.
Oh, good.
Your borscht, Mr. Ruskin.
Ooh, that looks good. What do you got in there now? Cabbage and what else?
Carrots, onions. We have 6 vegetables in there.
6. And what proportion is the cabbage to the other vegetables?
Oh, that's a secret.
Oh, that's a good secret.
That secret is now the basis for the most popular meal on the P&V menu. Vi's borscht is hard to beat.
Well, I'd say my wife makes the best borscht. Vi is a very close second.
Now, Fred, you're a chiropractor. Do you crack less bones from borscht eaters? Do you?
Well, maybe not less, but they have a better sound to their crack.
With praise like that, Vi and Phil decided to expand their horizons. They now vacuum pack and freeze their borscht for sale in grocery stores.
You can go ahead and add any of these things, or if you have meat at home.
And that means personal appearances to push the product.
If you had had your beets in here prior to this, everything would bleed into there and you'd have all one solid color.
Borscht with buns or borscht with bread, borscht for everyone, it says.
P&V borscht has come a long way since its humble beginnings. But one thing hasn't changed. Whether it's served in the restaurant or sold in the supermarket, it's still made the same way, in the same tiny kitchen where it all began.
Now, that's the whole business on two burners?
That's right, 2 burners. That's P and that's V.
You and me, campsite hospitality. You and me, P&V Borscht Company.
You know, you sure see a lot of things when you travel across this country. This is the Trans-Canada Highway just outside of Fredericton. Now, Prince Edward Island is just a few hundred kilometers away, and everyone knows that the potato there is a huge industry. But, you know, in New Brunswick, the potato is also big. Real big. We'll be right back. This is St. John's, Newfoundland, the provincial capital. That's the main center. But on this side of the harbor, right on the very edge of the city, is a community that time and St. John's forgot. It's called the Battery. Now, for years, it has been a community apart. It has survived countless storms and the sea lashing at it. But now the city threatens to overtake it. For the old-timers who live here, that means change. But they cling as stubbornly to their way of life as these houses cling to the rock. From his front row seat, high in his house perched on the hillside, Bob Piercy keeps watch over St. John's Harbor and the channel called the Narrows that leads out to the Atlantic Ocean. In his colorful battery brogue, Bob loves to talk about what he can see from up here, sights that city dwellers can only dream about.
Where can you go anywhere else now around St. John's, sit down, look out the harbour, and in the summertime I can take my glass and see a scatter whale come across there, blowing up across the Narrows there. And when the squid, the jumpers around to go, that's the small one, the pathead whales they call them. See a scatter school, patheads going up there, going up across there. See?
Boy, it's a bit of heaven.
See? And then in the spring of the year, then you see the big icebergs going up across. And now where are you going to see that anywhere else? Can't see that nowhere else.
The battery got its name from a small British fort built in 1680 to defend St. John's against the French. It was called the Queen's Battery, and for years it was the only structure on these cliffs. Then in the mid-1800s, squatters from the outports began to build sheds along the water's edge, and in this rugged, barren spot, a proud and determined community took root. People had to be tough. Many times over the years, high winds and heavy seas destroyed their wharves and sheds, sometimes even their houses. Bob remembers the worst of those storms in the winter of 1959. In the middle of the night, a snowslide buried 7 houses. 5 people died, including Bob's brother.
And the snow come down and killed him and his wife and his mother-in-law.
Oh, dear.
And man Wells was there, killed his son. And there was an old man Dow over there. Well, he died trying to get him up over that night. He was 102-year-old. He was trying to get him up over. He died that night trying to get him up over.
Wow.
The house, the snow come right from the top of the hill up there. Right from up the top of the hill up there.
Bob figures that's when life in the battery started to change. After the slide, people began to leave and didn't return. Not Bob Piercy, mind you. At 80 years of age, he's one of the few old-timers left here. It's only since his wife died last year that he's spent any time in St. John's. His daughters now insist he spend the winter with them in the city.
I go in now, when the snow comes, whatever time the snow comes, and I stayed until April once. I come back in April then.
How do you feel when you're away from the battery, living in St. John's?
I feel like I'm in jail. That's the way I feel like I'm in jail. That's the way I feel. So I get up in the morning, get my breakfast, and just go out and sit down and look out to the window and start and see the house on that side of me. And look out to the back window and see the house on that way. So I feel like I'm in jail.
But as soon as the snow is gone, Bob's a free man again, and he's back to the life he loves in the battery. Pretty well every day, he makes his way down the steep hill to the building they call the Twine Store. It's where the fishermen store their twine, mend their nets, and share their stories.
Yeah, what are you doing this morning? It's here in the winter or what?
Good morning, Bob. Right?
Good morning now. If it's blowing harder, you'll be out this morning.
Yeah, the skipper's on to go. You got to watch the
Skipper's on to go too, yeah, this morning. You know, my son, that's the real thing, the onion bait. If I don't go down the store, go down the hill, I'm missing something. There's something in my life that I'm not doing right.
I'm going to give the daughter away tomorrow night now. Got one of them tuxedos from me. I want a suit of white clothes. I'm making a little penguin.
These are good times for Bob, just like the old days, when if the fishing wasn't great, the company was. But many of the old families have gone. Now, newcomers from St. John's and beyond are discovering the battery. They're moving in, and the community is changing.
Do you feel good about the changes? Are you glad that...
Well, I suppose it's good, I suppose, to a certain extent, I said, but it's not the same out here now it was years ago. There's doctors and lawyers and everything else out around.
Are they your kind of people?
No, they're not our kind of people. But they're nice people now. Nice people, like friendly people, you know, but they don't rank with themselves the same as, you know, we did years ago, to ourselves, we say, you know. Now, that's called a storm sickness. It was up there on the hill for the schooner men.
But even as the battery changes, Bob Piercy keeps the past alive through his colorful wood carvings.
Whose places are these?
This is Wells's place. This is ours.
It's his way of making sure that people will remember the battery as it once was.
The boys will come down and we plug it in their boxes, and then you split the fish and wash it, and then you put the fish in the salad.
Your copper may turn into silver, and your silver may turn into gold. and that you will find very useful to help you, my boy, when you're old.
And so life goes on in the battery, in this place that St. John's forgot, where the old-timers cling to their memories, like their houses cling to the rock. And old Bobby sits by his window, and the memories dance in his eyes. And he knows the old ways are changing, and he watches time sailing by.
So this is the actual look of the shuttle cockpit.
This is it.
Wow. If only these systems worked, huh?
Oh, just stand by, Wayne.
What are you doing?
Bart, get ready for the ride of your life.